Welcome back to my channel. I'm Katia Woods, and today I'm going to be discussing with you my thoughts on A Wrinkle in Time. Okay, so I made sure before I watched it not to read any of the reviews because I wanted to have my own perspective. Like a lot of you, I read the book, and the book has so much in it, and I've learned from past experiences that 9 out of 10 times when a book has a lot of details and a lot of variables, it tends not to translate the way that we read it on screen. However, I felt the casting was really, really good. I love Storm Reid as Meg. I love the idea that this little girl is coming in a perspective and a body that many of us or many of you may not have thought about, and she's beautifully played by Storm. She has all of that angst and all of that doubt that many of us had when we were 14 years old, and she beautifully, shows emotion and everything. Derrick Mccane is the young man who played Charles Wallace, and he definitely is a scene stealer. Super, super cute, super on point, and he's just the one that is, coming out of left field, and you're going to be seeing and hearing a lot about him, and just, I love his whole energy in this movie. For the misses, I have to say, they were perfectly cast for each person. Reese Witherspoon is delightful as Mrs. Watson. She definitely has that type of energy and personality that goes in gear with Mrs. Watson. Oprah was Mrs. Winch, and that also works because, she's like the Oracle. And that's who we think of as Oprah, right? Oprah has the answers. If Oprah tells you something that, you should do it. We don't doubt it. And that's the role that she takes in A Wrinkle of Time. Mindy Kaling is Mrs. Who, and she's kind of like, I don't want to say that she's the oddball, but she's a good mixture of the two. And again, it was nice to see her in a different type of light, and definitely loved seeing her in this type of a role. The costuming is beautiful. All three of them, from the wigs, which was done by Kim Kimball. She's a celebrity hairstylist, and she's Ava's personal hairstylist. So totally got it. The wigs looked great, and again, fairy tale, but not drag queen like, which is, you can, when you have this type of story, it can go a little south. Also loved Levi Miller. He played Calvin. He's the other young person, and perfectly has good interaction with Meg. Chris Pine is somebody I really like. I like how he makes choices. He plays the dad, and I love how he goes from, being the superhero from Captain Kirk to also playing these more personal stories. I think he's done a good job of showing that he's more than just a one-trick pony or the pretty guy on screen. So I really love how he too chooses his roles. Someone that I really like, and someone that I'm glad is getting more and more opportunities and just overall just is, and I want to say her name right, and she played the mom, and her name is Mbatha-Raw. She's from the UK, and you've probably seen her in a ton of work, but you just didn't know her name. She has that face. And I'm hoping that this movie will finally make her more of a mainstream star. Delightful, great as the mom, trying to balance all of this, Her husband's disappeared and there's no body, and, and she's trying to keep hope alive, and the kids are like, I don't know. Overall, I thought this is a perfect mother-daughter, father-daughter movie to take. It's so great for young girls to be able to see a young girl who's out there and she's overcoming her fears and she's fighting through everything. It's a great family movie during a time when I think lots of times people, especially as a parent, a lot of the stuff is very mature, or even some of the stuff that is supposedly for children turns out to be where you're like, ooh, I don't know about that. And also, there isn't a lot out there for kids that are super little, but are a little bit older. So if you have kids from, like, I would say grade school to like middle school, even high school, this is a perfect movie because it has elements for everyone. Now I think it was shot beautifully. I don't think the special effects or the CGI were overused. I think when we're talking about things that aren't necessarily happening in the real world, right? Time travel, the idea that you have these 3 fairy godmothers. So you have the leeway to be a little bit, to think out of the box, to come up with concepts, How do you visualize, someone coming and giving you energy and all of those things, or giving you rules? There is no blueprint for that. So I think Ava did a really, really good job of picking natural elements, and as well as keeping the story, how can I say, personalized, right? There are parts of it, I would say, towards the end that are a little slow. But is it a bad movie? No. Is it like, if you've read the book, is it going to be what you envision? No, because, our imagination, and we all have different imaginations. So was she able to put all the details in there? No, because the movie would have been like 6 hours. But I think she captures the essence of the book, which is we all have the ability to overcome our fears. We all have a hero within us, and it doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter if you're popular or not. We all have the ability to rise to the occasion. And that's the thing that Meg discovers, It's her love. It's her belief in her father, the fact that she, all the things that he taught her, all those tools are helping her maneuver her way through this alternative world. So I definitely give it 2 thumbs up. And I recommend for you to go with your younger person and just take an afternoon. And also will bring out, it's not a bad movie for adults. I can see, well, if you're not into that, but I also think it will remind you of your inner child. And again, it's a great opportunity for you to support a filmmaker like Ava, who really is somebody that supports other filmmakers. Her company is all about bringing in other people, and she's done a great job. She's someone who practices diversity in front and behind the camera, and I feel as though she did something with this opportunity. She didn't waste it. So I definitely recommend pack the kids together. I know the movies can be expensive, so if you're saving your money for a particular movie, I suggest that you go and see A Wrinkle in Time. If you've seen it, tell me what you think. Leave your thoughts and comments below this video. Share with me if you loved it. Share with me if you hate it. Let's talk about it. Let's share our love with it. And most importantly, let me know what the little person in your house felt. If you have a daughter, my daughter is 16, so that perspective is going to be a little bit differently. But if you have a tween, what were they thinking? Or a grade schooler, what was she feeling? Did she think it was great? Did she think it was a good time? And would she go see it again? And definitely let me know. And as always, if you dig what we're doing here on this channel, subscribe, share with friends, and I'll see you at the next go around.